Our social studies our lesson today is continuing chapter 4 with lesson 4, Egyptian achievements. Our big idea today, the Egyptians made lasting achievements in writing, architecture, and art. Two main ideas, the Egyptians developed a writing system using hieroglyphics, and the Egyptians created magnificent temples, tombs, and works of art. You're going to come back and watch this funny video. So hieroglyphics. This was the Egyptian writing system. If you remember in Mesopotamia, we had cuneiform. So now we have hieroglyphics. Egyptians learned to write hieroglyphics on papyrus. This is a long-lasting paper-like material that they made from the reeds that lined the Nile River. So papyrus, you'll hear it pronounced both ways. This is what they used to write on instead of clay tablets, like with the stylus that they used in Mesopotamia. Scribes wrote on papyrus using brushes and ink, and historians learned how to read hieroglyphics after discovering something called the Rosetta Stone, which was written in 3 languages. It was written in hieroglyphics, a later form of Egyptian, and Greek. And because we could decipher Greek, that led us to be able to figure out what hieroglyphics meant as well. Here's another video that you're going to come back and watch. Here are some examples of the Egyptian hieroglyphics. And you can see they're similar to pictographs, but more complex than that. They used picture symbols to represent sounds. So you're all familiar with King Tut, probably. So this was his symbol, and it meant image. It was pronounced Tut, or Tut, because his name was Tutankhamun, but we call him King Tut. So Egyptians believed the massive temples were homes to the gods. We learned this in an earlier lesson. The people visited to worship, offer gifts to the gods, and of course to ask for favors from the gods. The temples had stone sphinxes, the half lion, half man, amongst other statues. An obelisk, which is a tall 4-sided pillar that's pointed at the top. If you'll think about the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., this is shaped like an obelisk. And the temples also had painted walls and columns that had hieroglyphics as well. This is the temple at Karnak, and you can see the scale of this temple just compared to normal human beings and how huge this is and how ornate and detailed everything was in the temple. So pretty magnificent when you think about it. And this was actually Egypt's largest temple. It was built to honor Re, the sun god. Karnak was one of Egypt's major religious centers for centuries. And this is a video you're going to come back and watch. Egyptian art was filled with lively, colorful scenes, just like you saw in the temple. Art showed historical events, everyday life, and religious events, because remember, religion was very important in ancient Egypt. And their painting had a distinctive style. It's where the people's heads and legs are always seen from the side, but their upper bodies are shown straight on. And that's how you can always pick out Egyptian art. The tombs contained works such as art, and we've already said hieroglyphics on the walls and columns, stone statues and carvings, because the Egyptians were, as you can see, very skilled stone workers, and jewelry. And this was worn by both females and males in ancient Egypt. This ends lesson 4. Our last lesson in chapter 4 will be about ancient Kush.